This is the Tales of Hilldrop Crescent. This project has been made possible thanks to the Cripplegate Foundation and public funding by the National Lottery through Arts Council England. The project included conversations with 20 residents of Hilldrop Crescent and users of Hilldrop Community Centre. 10 participants took part in a podcast workshop with Alice Lloyd, a professional podcast producer. This episode is called People of Hilldrop and collates stories of people who live or have lived on the Crescent.
So when did you start to work at Samangos? When did you start having a studio?
About 20 or so years ago. And it used to be a terrible, dirty place. And then it was redone, it was cleaned up and so on. And for a while we did work there with groups. Well, about these groups, Ron used to come to them. He likes music. He likes listening to songs, especially from the 60s and 70s and like that. As the others who used to come to the groups, they either moved on in some way. Usually they died, because people, a lot of them were alcoholics and they tend not to live that long, whereas Ron has never drunk in his life. He doesn't drink tea and coffee either. Has never smoked. So he just goes on and on. He's much older than all the others. For 18 years, he was employed in Kent, in a small town in Kent, Ashford, which is now a big railway town. Then it was a small, more like a village, very attractive little village. And his family lived there. And he worked in the local newspaper for 18 years there. And still mentions it a lot. It's very alive in his mind. But he used to go out a lot and walk.
I was lucky that there was a wood near where I used to live. And do you know what? I used to spend all afternoon in that wood. There was a woodman, he would be sawing up logs in the corner of the wood. And we would be the only two people in that wood. I would spend all afternoon in there, just studying leaves.
My grandparents bought the property in about 1951.
Okay.
But that's when I was born, so it's roughly the same time. Yeah. And whilst they separated, my grandmother lived here with her partner. Right. And my grandfather lived in Camden. He had a cafe in Camden, in Midminster Street. And I would just, because my grandmother was here on occasions.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
I don't know very much about the place in the 50s because I was very young then. And so when I was here, I was literally just coming here for the evening or something and staying over and then going back in the morning, going home in the morning. Or I would go into Camden and then go to the cafe where my grandmother was. She looked after the kitchen there for him, and my mother was there. So my only experience with the place was literally from her place where she was living in the basement and to the bus stop or getting a taxi or something, and then to the corner. Well, I ended up by coming here to take care of my grandfather. I came over here initially not to stay, because I was living in Sweden, and I came here just to sort things out for him, and then I ended up staying on because there was nobody to take care of him.
Wow. And have you lived here ever since then?
Ever since, yeah. That was from 1981 I came over. There was it was my grandfather, and then a whole load of tenants.
you know, we're an Irish family growing up in London, so they came over in after the war and then met here in London. And like a lot of Irish people at that time, you know, there was a lot of Irish people here and Greek Cypriot people a lot in this area. So they got a flat in number 59, top floor flat. And I think we were there for about 4 years, and then they heard about a basement flat in number 4, which was better for them because it meant then that we had the garden, so us lot could run around, you know, it was good for the kids. And the gardens are really long as well, I remember that, you know, for unusually long gardens. So I think, you know, that was a really good move. There were 4 of us, so I'm the second, older brother, 2 younger sisters.
So may I ask you when were you born?
I was born in 1956. So I think I was about 5 years old when we moved to number 4 in 59. And then we were here till about 64, 65. And then we moved to a flat in Tottenham Park Road. But even at that age, I remember kind of missing Hilldrop Crescent. It was quite a nice street to grow up in, I think, as a kid. It was quite leafy and it was quite sort of, you know.
Did you want to read what you've written?
Do you want to read it now? Shall I read it?
Yeah.
One of my earliest memories from leaving school and a temporary transition to work was seeing my father cut sandwiches and making preparations for his sandwich ban. Being the oldest child, I lacked discipline, or so I thought. Life was tough for some in those days, and we had to tread gingerly. Whatever the profession, it was a matter of identity.
But the trouble was, he had it in the winter, and he probably had it in the wrong position. He couldn't make it perfect.
Who could?
My father.
Oh, your father?
He was a cook in the army,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
and he could bake a cake,
Yeah.
and he used to stand there all day mowing it. He couldn't get the customer. Had he had it in the summer, and had it in another position, he might have made it go with it. He couldn't get the customer. The AA man was his only regular customer.
Well, I'm Geraldine. I've lived here since 2014, October 2014, and I moved here from West Hampstead. Well, I had nowhere to live in between. I lived with a friend near Holloway, near the Odeon, and then I finally managed to find somewhere around here, which was great. And the day I moved in, the people hadn't moved before. They'd lived there a long time. Good. I wonder if you know them, but anyway, they'd lived there a long time. They didn't really understand about moving day and deadlines and when things had to happen. And they hadn't really packed all their stuff. And, you know, my stuff was all in storage anyway, so it was very quick for me to move in. And, you know, I phoned them on the day and said, so I'll be there at 12, which is the normal time. And they said, oh, well, can you come at 4? And, you know, I was thinking, wow, you can't do that, you know. But anyway, I turned up at 4 and the woman had gone, but her 2 sons were upstairs in the living room watching telly. They were like grown-up sons. And me and some of my friends had come to help me. I just had the stuff in the van. They come to help me move it in. And we were all like, God, what do we do now, you know? And Anyway, they went about 8 o'clock. Anyway, how about you?
Beautiful introduction, and it's very good to get to know about you, Geraldine. My name is Albert. I moved in the building 2 years ago now, so I'm a very new neighbor. I moved from Archway, and I was trying to find a place quite desperately. And this was actually not a desperate move. It was very exciting and very lovely. I loved the flat from the beginning. It was quite smooth and quite straightforward. When I moved in, the people that left, they left me a bottle of champagne, a list of things that were nice in the neighborhood, and some nice card. And I was quite impressed. It's not that the place was very clean, because I think he was subletting it to his brother-in-law, and the brother-in-law clearly didn't care for the flat, so you could see like the counter was rotting in some spaces, and the dirt was quite bad, to the extent that I thought that on the window the seals were black when actually they were white.
Who was the first one to move into the Crescent?
Me.
Do you remember when that was?
I think it was like 2015. What about you? When did you move in?
Well, my parents split up in 2023, and then my mum moved into Hilldrop Crescent in the summer. So that was when we moved in.
So do you like it? Do you like it as a block and a flat and an area?
Yeah, I really do. I think it's kind of like, it's surprisingly green, especially when I look out my windows, my brother's window, my mum's window, and we have a lot of light coming into our room, into our house or flat, whatever. And just like looking out from my bedroom, I kind of get a nice view, and kind of, I don't know, I like nature, so
Yeah,
it makes me feel a bit refreshed.
I kind of miss that from our old house. It would just be like, you look outside, it's just trees, or at least during summer, until they like cut off all the branches.
What did you like the most about your time at Hilldrop Crescent?
Just like, there was so much to do. Like, you could probably just like go to the football pitch and like spend an afternoon there. You can't really do that in any place.
60 seconds.
Yeah, 60 seconds.
In the football pitch right here. That was fun. 60 seconds is a football game. Someone goes in goal, you got to score a goal in under 60 seconds, then you got to close 2 in under 60 seconds. Sort of a few rules added on, but we used to do that pretty often.
That was quite fun. And then the basketball court down there,
Yeah.
like more recently.
I'm Stephen Morby. I'm Chair of Trustees at the Hilldrop. And an all-round good egg, I think.
Did you know the community centre before becoming a trustee?
That's a good question. Did I know the community centre? Probably not. In that I don't have children, and it's rather hidden, the Hilldrop. You know, it's at the end of Community Lane. You wouldn't really know. I began to, strangely enough, so I joined the Labour Party in 2016. I was a Corbyn supporter, and I became active, and so I started canvassing for the Labour Party. So over a period of 3 or 4 years, I knocked on every door in Tufnell Park. So until I started doing that, I didn't really know where I lived. You don't. You know the people you know, you walk down the streets you walk down. But I have knocked on every door in Tufnell Park many times. So I got to know the area through doing that, and you talk to people on the doorstep. So that was definitely, I got a strong sense of what was happening in Tufnell Park, which, helped me, I suppose, as a trustee here, in that I know the area well now. Hilldrop Crescent is a nightmare because
I was living there at the time. What do you mean?
Well, but it's getting in.
Yes.
So we actually had fireman's keys, which you can buy in the institute to use the thing. Half of them don't work. And so you've got many entrances. Now, the bigger blocks, like Buckhurst House and Coombe, it's like that, but once you're in, you get access to more homes. So no, Hilldrop Crescent was particularly challenging just to get in. And sometimes you just ring the bell and say, will you let me in? You know, absolutely. And mostly they would. But no, Hilldrop Crescent was definitely challenging, shall we say. I actually thought I would hate canvassing. I thought I'd hate knocking on people's doors. But in the end, it turned out to be the most interesting thing. It's quite an eye-opener, I can tell you, just talking to people and asking them what they think. And just, every possible opinion, acceptable and not acceptable, it's sort of, but fascinating, really.
My name's Michael, I'm the Centre Administrator for Hilldrop.
How long have you been the Centre Administrator?
2 years next month. Yes, it's gone quite quickly.
How are you finding Hilldrop?
I like it. The people are really nice, very welcoming. There's a lot of laughs. There's some funny people. People are great. In fact, this is the only centre I know that's got a garden, which is very unique.
What's your favourite activity, I would say, at the community? The favourite club or the favourite group?
Probably the lunch club, or the coffee morning. That social club. It's a nice group of people because you get it's quite a diverse group, and you got some that are sitting there doing a little bit of knitting, and it's a nice social event. People will come in just having a conversation, someone talking about football or anything. It's nice. It's nice to see that cross section of ages as well.